If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
All right, folks, back on the Bossman show, going down to the SWAC conference, the Grambling State Tigers doing big things. Donte Jackson with me, the coach. Donte, what's up, brother? How you doing? I love the follow you got there in the background. I love it, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. Thanks for having me, boss, man.
Anytime, coach, man. Hey, Donte, you've been here going on your sixth season, man. Does it feel like you've been there that long, man? 6 years, does it feel like it to you?
No, I don't, man. Honestly, it don't feel like 6 seasons. It's like, the one thing about being at Graham, man, it's like a great family environment. So it don't even feel like, it's like, don't even feel like work. Just feel like you're just going to do what you do.
No doubt. Let me ask you this, man. For my father's a coach. My father's 82 years old, and his wife was wanting to help young men be better. So for you, what got you into coaching, and what was your why to want to get into his business?
That was the thing. I'll never forget. I played at Central State University, and I was graduating. Wanting to go overseas and do all that stuff. All these athletes wanted to do, and Michael Grant and Doug Lewis was my head coach and assistant coach at the time, and they was like, "Hey, man, you're gonna be a great coach, man. You should start. You should start. You should start. You should become our student assistant." And I was thinking to myself, like, man, I ain't trying to be no student assistant, But then, I needed one more semester to graduate, and I would have been like the first person on one side of my family to graduate, and trying to set the example for my younger siblings and cousins. And then I was like, all right, cool. I started doing it. And, once I got into the game, it all became about helping people. It's about helping another person be better. And, whether that's, socially, physically, mentally, whatever, we could do athletically, it's about helping people to become a better person and be better than what they started.
No doubt, I'll tell you, my father's a coach, but I think at Tennessee State, the coaches I had at Tennessee State are the ones that molded me because stuff they told me back in the days, like, I'm almost 40 years old. It hits me now.
Yeah, that's the
Coach
truth.
was right about this back in the day. It didn't make sense to me then, but now it's like, I remember Coach told me that back in the day after a practice. And so I feel like coaches have impact on us as athletes long beyond being on the court or on the field.
It's funny, man, because when I was playing, Michael Grant used to always call me son. Come here, son. I mean, son. And now, when I see him, it's like it's Coach Grant still, but it's almost like Dad Grant. That's Pops. He always was a person that always took me under his wing. And if anytime I really got real issues between him and Doug Lewis, I can call them, and the phone gonna be picked up instantly. We're gonna talk about whatever problems I got, and we're gonna talk about how to solve.
No doubt. We have a similar experience. I'll tell you, Wilberforce right across the street from Central State. So
yeah,
I had Tennessee State, I had Fisk and Harris.
Right across the street.
How was it cool having HBC right across the street for you to go hang out and see a different flow a little bit?
It was great. It was great, man. But the tough part was it was such a rivalry. That's like the Route 42 rivalry. Our two biggest rivals was Wilberforce and Kentucky State, and they both was green and gold. So I ain't like no green and gold in college.
Hey, thank God Fisk was in NAIA still is. Thank God for that.
Yeah. So it was always a big game between us and Wilberforce, but it was great just to be able to have, to be able to go across the street, take courses across the street because we had dual enrollment. If you took courses at Central, you could take them at Wilberforce, depending on if you needed something to graduate that wasn't offered. So it was great, to be able to have Wilberforce across the street, and those guys that played basketball. we was all in the gym together. So it was almost like we had two basketball teams playing against each other all the time. Them open gyms were serious, as everybody was in there trying to vie for their spot.
No doubt. And brother, you was at Nashville while my old fucking girls at Tennessee State, Vanderbilt, brother. You got to win on SEC. Another Power 5 win for you on the road, Memorial Gym. That's kids. Memorial Gym is a unique place to coach because it's on the baseline. How was the experience for you before you answer about the game itself?
It was incredible, man. I always wanted, being a coach, you got certain places you always want to coach at. Vandy was one of those because, everybody on the baseline instead of the sideline. And, to be able to walk the sideline. But the toughest part was like the interaction with my assistant coaches. So, I'm sitting here, they kind of sitting underneath the basket, and towards the game got on the line. I'm like, oh no, y'all need to come to the other end of the baseline so I can talk to y'all so we can be able to make the right subs and know what's going on. So it was just, it was a beautiful experience, like incredible atmosphere, great to coach in. I was just, excited to even have that opportunity and blessed to have that opportunity.
No doubt. And seeing your guys, you already got one Power 5 win previously over Colorado out of Pac-12 and going to Vanderbilt. And you haven't got Ross with older young men who know how to play. Talk about that aspect of winning these games with these Power 5 schools, because I feel that's really a big key. Being older, knowing how to play, not being scared of these close games and know how to execute under pressure.
Well, I think the thing that's important about our team is that we had 9 guys returning prior, from guys who had experience, whether they was in the program 3 years or 1 year, and then even the guys that sat out, like a George Smith and all that, Terrence Lewis, they were there in practice or they were there at games. They're there going through situational things that we practice and we drill. And they might have been on the other team being the other guy, but it's like we're going through these situations. And they was there. And the biggest thing about our group is that they was able to build camaraderie with each other. And then, the guys that we brought in the summer, everybody just kind of took hold. We try to really preach that family environment, look out for your brother. And that's been what it was. And, now you take that and you get onto the court, it carries on to the court where you got continuity. So, when you're walking on the court and you got continuity and you got guys kind of knowing exactly what needs to happen during this period of time, or you got some older guys that have been in some fights, now they know how to execute down the stretch.
One thing I always tell young men who I talk to, young players, like you don't learn how to win close games until you actually do it. You're in that mix with referees, another gym, and you're a gym, and another team, another jersey on. Because you can do it in practice all day long, but at the same intensity of actually as an execution. Another team don't know what you're gonna do, baby, and have to make a decision whether to go A, B, C, or D. Not depending on coach tell me, hey, go do this. We can see it. Oh, he's hedging me. Let me do this right here. So having that experience is so key to winning close games, brother. As you and I both know.
And it's funny because we lost a close game this year. We played Incarnate Word in San Antonio, and I felt like all the guys felt like it was a game they should have won. We all played. We got down the stretch, and we made mistakes. We made mistakes, and we sat back, we went back, we watched film, and we talked about it. Because I believe for our student athletes, the best way they get better is their visual. They grew up with the video game. Everybody got a PS5, PS4, PS something, Xbox. Yes. So everybody visual. So as soon as practice over, Call of Duty. It's like they're ready to get to shooting some stuff up. So it's like, all right, cool. Let's go. Let's be visual learners. Let's take it. Let's go to the lab and let's talk about it. And we talked about how we lost that game, and then we talked about there's going to be some games that's going to be close, things that we need to do to execute. And we executed against Vandy, which was great.
For the fans who understand about at the SWAC level, it's basketball period. It's really a possession game. It's not really talent. It's possessions and a key play here or there. It make a miss too, but it's really possessions determine who wins, loses these games pretty much these days, brother Donte.
Well, that's what we talk about. We always talk about, let's win one possession at a time. We always talk about winning one possession. We play the games in possessions. We try to play the games in 4-minute spurts because, we got the media timeouts. We want to win more possessions in that 4-minute spurt than the other team do. So that's our goal, night in, night out, take care of that ball, make sure we get a shot up and defend it. And then make sure, we stop a shot and get a rebound. So that's our goal every day.
No doubt, for those who don't understand about SWAC basketball down there, talk about how the quality of it is. Because you all play some great ball down there. And this year, seeing you all get wins against Power Fives and the other big major teams, seeing what you all do, I feel like people that look at y'all, the SWAC and MEAC is just whatever. Now, it's really good basketball. And I feel like y'all deserve more respect because it's you all some damn good coaches, damn good players down in that conference, brother.
Well, I think, the toughest part about us is that, we play so many buy games. We fundraise for our institution. You go play these guys on the road, and, the part of basketball nobody wants to talk about is the humanistic element of basketball. So when the officials out there receiving a $3,500 check from a Pac-12 school and you on the road, do you think you're getting the call?
Of course not.
Like, do you think you're getting the call? And that's the tough part about it. Now we play most of these mid majors or, low to mid majors anywhere on a neutral site, we're going to win. I believe our coaching is superior. I mean, you look at our conference from guys like Johnny Jones, Sean Woods, Byron. I mean, like Byron Smith. I mean, like guys can really coach. I mean, they go out and it's like every year they're winning non-conference games. So it's just like, I think our league is an incredible league. I think our league is full with great coaches. And night in, night out, you got to come to play in the SWAC. Like I tell our guys, like it ain't a day off. You can look at that record if you want to, but that record don't tell the truth. Like that
Yes.
team, that record don't tell the truth. Like that team can play. It's 3 or 4 of those guys that you're gonna have to come in and prepare for. And if you don't bring your A game, we're gonna lose.
No doubt. I tell people that all the time, Dante, it's like, look, you look at the SWAC and the MEX records in November, December, that's because they have to, like you said, fundraise, buy games. It's more to it than just that. And that's why I get mad when certain guys in the SWAC get fired because having losses because you're the fundraise. Like I didn't say no names, but certainly you know how it is in SWAC. Some guys get fired because of the record. Not really we had it for fundraise. What want we do? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's
And
crazy.
the tough part of it is like, what people fail to realize is just keeping your team together and keeping morale high. Like when you go out and you play games that, realistically you don't have a chance of winning, it's tough. You got to go out there, you got to compete at a high level. And you lose those games and you lose those games consecutively, your guys, they get down. You know what I mean? It's just like anybody in life, like if you it takes the right person with the right type of mental toughness and mental fortitude to stay up and stay ready to compete at a high level. And sometimes when you get some guys who's their first time around or they ain't seen it, like I tell our kids, you're not getting a call. Like, don't even look at me. Don't say nothing. Keep your head focused on the next assignment because you're not getting a call. And it's funny because we get to the Vandy games, it's a little small snippet of that. We go about 4 or 5 possessions where they just shoot free throws, and we got to go play offense. And we get a 2 or 3 guys fouled, no call. And one of our players look at me, Jordan Smith, and say, he started laughing. He was like, "Man, coach, you said this. I can't believe it," because he transferred in from a higher program. And you don't, it's not, you're not treated like that on the road. You're a higher program, or you're not, how can I say, you're not always the underdog because they're always coming to you. you're the person buying the games. I said that's the biggest difference when you come to us. We're getting bought, and we got to go play with those officials. But I mean, it take when you playing those games, man. It's just like you gotta stay the course. And if you can't stay the course, that's when you kind of lose your team. And a lot of people don't understand that part of it, because 13 games on the road, I mean,
Yeah.
like the season starts, and that's the tough part, a lot of people, like this didn't happen so much in the past where people kind of like, oh, well, the season don't really start to January. Nah, the season started in November.
Yes. And
Like the
those
season
games
started,
count. It's my record in November.
yeah, like the season started in November. Like those games do count, you know what I mean? And it's like a lot of times people like, oh, well, it's just SWAC count. No, man, everything count. And I just think we got to get out of the notion that only SWAC count. All these games are important.
No doubt. And talk about this. You got Virginia Tech coming up here. Another powerful out of ACC school that comes out of Atlanta to play Georgia Tech all the time. Talk about that matchup with some guys on the film. A tough team in Blacksburg up there, man.
Listen, tough team, ranked number 24th in the country in the AP poll. Now, we got to go there. We got to compete well. Point guard is playing, incredible. Padilla is a great player, man. He's probably one of those guys that's probably going to be all ACC. So it's going to be a tough matchup for us. he runs the show. He gets everything going. He's kind of like a little Steve Nash. He's just making play after play. So, we got to do a good job of containing him and rebounding the ball. Like I tell our guys all the time, if we rebound the ball and we limit guys to one possession, we got a chance to play.
No doubt. Donte, how has the portal helped you, man, recruiting down to Grambling? I know you down there, but near Rust and all that. We'll take down the street from you guys. About how has it helped you with portal and seeing the swag get more shine now, seeing what you got to do with Johnny Jones, doing all those years, going to the tournament, winning the play-in game, the tournament, and doing that. So how has it really helped you all in this portal, man, and finding talent? Because it's so much out there for you guys to get if it's the right fit.
Well, I think, the portal is great. I think you just got to make sure you find fit. Fit is everything. Trying to find the right person that fits is everything. Now for us, when you look at our roster, we almost got, I want to say 8 of our guys transferred in on this team from higher level conferences, you may say. We got a kid transferred from St. Louis, DePaul, Texas A&M. We got Iowa State, Coastal Carolina, Hofstra, Boise State, the list go on. So, the portal just gives you access to some, I guess, immediate talent. Guys can come in and play immediately instead of having to sit that year. So now, you putting guys on the court that all can kind of just buy in together.
No doubt. Talk about your buddy Talbot Hester. That's a good friend of mine. Talbot's a good buddy of mine. Talk about seeing him get a head coach job down and losing 10 down the road for you. And how's it cool to see you, both of you guys in the business doing great things right now?
Man, it's just incredible, man, to see Talbot, man. I didn't know Talbot when I first got here, but when he came to La Tech, man, it's like we connected, man, just connected, became really, really good friends, talk off the court. It's cool because our wives hang out and everything together. So, it's just bigger than basketball with Coach Hester, man. It's just great to see him doing great things over at La Tech. This summer, man, we came in and we sat down, brought both our staffs together. We talked basketball and, we try to get together and talk basketball. And, I just think that's just good for the growth of each of us, because he had a lot of different high level experiences and I'd had a lot of different head coaching experiences. So, I told him whenever you need to lean on me, help me. And whenever I need some help from you, I need the help. So, it's just been great, to have that relationship down here.
That's one for you, Donte. This is one question for you, brother. Food question. What's your top food spots in the Grambling area, man? If we come down there and cover some games, we wish we stop and get some meat there, brother.
Man, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. I really like Ponchatoula's in Dayton. I like Ponchatoula's in Ruston. I really like Ponchatoula's, and I like Nana's. Nana's for the soul food, Ponchatoula's for a little bit of that seafood.
Man, that's right on point, my brother. I like that idea, man, because like I said, we love cover games, man. Come down through that support guys, come on the show, man. So we're gonna come down there and support you and Talbot, man. So we gotta see you real soon, brother. Like I love the polo, man. I love the G, man. It's looking nice on you, brother.
Yeah, thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Folks, it's Dr. Jackson, Bossman Show, Grambling State Tigers head coach out of swag.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, I'm Dr. Z, and I'm a neurosurgeon. So that means long hours, early rounds, late nights, and everything in between. And through it all, I wear figs. Because they're built for what I do. Through the chaos, through the hours, and through whatever the day throws at me, they do their job so I can do mine. They're comfortable when it counts and functional when I need them the most. So where do you wear your figs? On shift, on call, on the couch in the break room, listening to this podcast? Wherever it is, they fit right in. And now listeners of this podcast can get 15% off their first order. Just head to wearfigs.com and use code FIGSRX at checkout. That's wearfigs.com, code FIGSRX.